Welcome to this edition of Stream On. I'm Jim Williams, your host, and today we have a special one for you. I know a lot of fans are excited. Series 9, Doc Martin, drops on Acorn TV in less than 24 hours, okay? Meanwhile, for those of you listening to us in the UK, be sure to tune in on ITV tonight as we kick off Series 9, Doc Martin, and our guest is the man himself, Martin Clunes. Martin has played that role since day one. He is Martin. And I got to tell you, Martin, it's a lot of fun chatting with you. Looking forward to it. Let's talk about Series 9, Doc Martin.
Oh, great. That's nice to hear. That's really nice to hear. It feels like it when we do it, you know, and this year was no different. It was a joy, and everybody felt like they were at the top of their game, and they had good stuff to do, if you know what I mean, in the script.
Yeah.
And everybody was sort of relishing their jobs, and I guess when you're in a company of people and you know each other that well,
right,
it kind of frees you up a bit to be your best self, if you know what I mean. But
yeah.
also the script felt particularly solid this year, and I think we've kind of upped the funny a bit.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's
without sacrificing the drama, but
right.
But yeah,
well,
yeah.
It's a fun ride. I gotta say that we know one thing, all right? Martin wouldn't have a Facebook page, but it's quite possible that Louisa would. And if Louisa had a Facebook page, it would say, under relationship, married, but it's complicated. The relationship that the two of you have had over the 8 years it's been such a fun and interesting ride, to say the least.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, it's really good fun to play. She's so gorgeous and clever and funny, and now we've sort of stopped. Not the animosity, but we've taken the view that they have to coexist because they coexist. If you know what I mean, so you can't keep banging into each other. But it's lovely because you see flashes of why they're together, of how they sort of mutually support one another. Just little flashes, but it's been a fun ride. Because there's an issue. We are throughout the series trying for another child. So of course there's medical implications which fascinate the doctor there, but with an interest that you might not necessarily want from a husband.
Well, we also, I understand, in Series 9 get to see a little bit more now of James as the young lad as opposed to the baby.
Yes. We put off aging James, as long as we could, mainly because Caroline Katz refuses to age visibly, and so we had to keep the baby a baby.
All right.
But no, he has got a little bit older, and we had a great, a very characterful young man called Elliot play him.
Right, Elliot Blake is supposedly becoming more like Martin and less like Caroline, or I'm sorry, Louisa.
Well, he's 3 years old, and we can call him an actor if we want, but you know what I mean. You kind of take what you're given, and the writers had written a kind of mini me sort of deal. Right.
That's funny.
Which is a terribly funny idea, but you try explaining that to a 3-year-old. We just you take what you can get from dogs and children.
Well, it's like the old.
He had a lot of charm. He was actually really sweet, and that comes through. But also, Louisa has concerns because he's quite happy with his own company in the story.
Well, the old WC. She's concerned. The old WC Fields line: never work with animals or children.
Yes. Except my only memory of W.C. Fields is him chasing an ostrich down the street in one of his films.
Yeah,
he did something right.
yeah. He's clearly it didn't work out necessarily for him, but things happen, right? Now, with characters like Bert Large, Ian McNeice, there's so many layers to Doc Martin that it's like a beautiful thing that I have watched the series now. I'm in my fourth time of going through it, and that's wow. I either have no life or clearly it's. Every time I watch it, I see something different that's funny.
Oh, well, that's great.
Or unique, or it's when when you start something, right? You never know if anybody's going to like it. But in your wildest dreams, could you have believed that when you started Doc Martin, that fast forward now, what is it? That's almost like 12 or 14 years ago, right? That you started it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fast forward 12 plus years, right? And it's become a worldwide sensation. Would you have ever in your wildest dreams thought that would be the case?
No. I couldn't have begun to. I mean, you just hope, our first customers were ITV and the English audience, and you just hope you get away with, pleasing them. But no. And it was, I think it sort of was maybe 3 or 4 series before it sort of caught on in the States. But there's a very particular kind of mail I get from people in the States, very different from the mail I get from people in England who basically say, can I have a signed photo or something. Where I get really clear explanations of what, how they found the show and what the show does for them. And I suppose it's got an Epicurean appeal over there because you have to seek it out. Whereas over here, it's kind of mainstream, blah de blah, one of the main channels, and it doesn't attract the same attention. It's been really gratifying to see to hear you say that you've watched it 4 times through and you're still finding stuff in it, because we put lots of stuff in it and you can't expect people to necessarily get everything, but it's really gratifying. Hang on, it's good to tell my dogs to shut up. Shut up!
Clearly, you have the same dogs you have on the show. You have that same issue. You come out of your office, and there you've got dogs, and you're like, get out. So I'm glad to see at home that you have the same problems there as you have, have on the show.
Yes, times 4.
Oh, okay. Well, then you are a glutton for punishment. It's one of the other parts, and we would be remiss without saying it, but Port Wayne, right? I've been to England, and I'm dying to find out where that is, because I've got to go to this village and check it out. It's really become it's part of it's another character in some ways.
No, in a very real sense, it's always been a character. Yeah, it's always been a player. It's so nice to take pictures there, and it's great when we have new directors or new people come to the show, because you see it again afresh through their eyes, especially with directors, because they'll shoot it in a different way. Or now with the advent of drones and things, we can take lots of different pictures of it, and it's just really pretty. And it always was. It was a tourist destination long before we tapped up.
Right. We'll be back with more Stream On right after this. Gang, let me tell you about my friends over at Mint Mobile. I made the change, and I gotta tell you, I'm glad I did. Let me ask you a question. If you're still using one of those big wireless providers in 2019, what are you paying for? Well, I'll tell you what you're paying for. Between the expensive retail stores, inflated prices, and hidden fees, you're being taken advantage of because you don't know what you're paying for. All right? They do, but you don't. That's why I'm with Mint Mobile, because Mint Mobile provides the same premium network coverage that you're used to at a fraction of the cost, because everything's online. Mint Mobile saves on retail locations and overhead and passes those savings directly on to you. Now, you guys know that my phone is my livelihood, okay? I'm not going to come out here and tell you that Mint Mobile works if it doesn't work for me, and it works for me. I can obviously make my phone calls, text to make certain that we got our guests for the show, check my emails, and of course, watch videos, whether I'm going from Philadelphia to New York, from DC to Denver, from Los Angeles to San Francisco, doesn't matter. Mint Mobile has got me covered. I've not had any problems using the service whatsoever. The big thing, folks, it's made me able to cut my wireless bill dramatically. Mint Mobile makes it so simple to cut your wireless bill down to just $15 a month. Every plan comes with unlimited nationwide talk and text. That's right. With Mint Mobile, stop paying for unlimited data that you never use. Choose between plans with 3, 8, or 12 gigabytes of 4G LTE data. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan. Keep your own phone number. Keep your existing contacts. It's very simple. Why? Because what you're doing, folks, is you're ditching that old wireless bill, and you're going to start saving with Mint Mobile. Now, here's what I want you to do. To get one of those new wireless plans for only $15 a month and get the plan shipped directly to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/my last name Williams. That's mintmobile.com/WILLIAMS. That's mintmobile.com/Williams, mintmobile.com/WILLIAMS, mintmobile.com. All the information is in the show box below, folks. Do me a favor and do yourself a favor at the same time. Get the best possible coverage at the lowest possible price. You can do that at Mint Mobile. Do it today. Join me as part of the Mint Mobile family. Welcome back to Stream On. Is there anything about the character Martin Ellingham that you relate to?
Oh yeah, loads. Yeah, pretty much all of it. I made him up.
Well, that's a good point. Yeah, that part of it. I kind of walked into that one, didn't I? Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
But when we were, when he was being made up,
right.
We were looking for something, or I was something that felt like it was a good use of my skill set.
Right.
You know what I mean? And with the very early scripts, it wasn't until we sort of put them through. We had a pair of script doctors who were like really good at just putting little sarcastic barbs in, and
right.
they invigorated, the scripts with that early on. That gave him that ability to, because he is quite witty, in some of the things he says to people. But
he's absolutely.
Also quite neutral. But it just felt like it was a good use of whatever it is I have to offer. I don't know. But and I love the marriage of there's a lot of technical stuff to the doctoring and the medicine and stuff, and using syringes and what have you and stuff. But I thrive on that. I've always have, and I think and only once you have that investment in that sort of black and white reality and sort of the sort of life and death stuff, then you can have really, once you've invested in that, I believe you've got a better chance of being funny, rather than if you're, Mr. Stupid does a stupid thing, if you know what I mean.
Right.
I don't get Mr. Bean, because I think he's a twat.
Exactly. Well, exactly, yeah. If I'll tell you what, if it wasn't for Dr. Ellingham, half of Port Wayne wouldn't be there anymore.
That's a superpower, isn't it? Yeah.
They totally keep you busy with everything possibly that you can imagine. I mean that they do end up getting themselves in some pretty interesting bits, which call to your expertise on pretty much anything having to do with medicine.
Yes. Yes, that's definitely his superpower. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's a challenging aspect to say the least. You know, Martin, one of the wonderful things about you as a talent and a creator is that, obviously Doc Martin is successful, but you've been successful in so many other genres. I mean, obviously the comedy, Manhunt, and the shows where you've gone out and been a bit of a tour guide. I mean, it's a career that I think is one that is so incredibly entertaining from an audience standpoint that you have such a great depth.
Well, thank you. That's very nice of you. From my end, I just feel really, really lucky. And I'll get found out one day.
Well, I think we all come to that point, Martin, where we're going like, okay, this is really good. We're doing fine, but God help us if somebody finds out that that it's not working for us. We're in trouble. But then again, you were wise. You were very wise in marrying Philippa because she's a very clever woman as well, and I'm sure she can find challenges for you there.
Well, she keeps them coming. But you're right. I'm very, very lucky.
Well, I married a doctor, and the old saying goes, "I married up." So clearly,
yeah, me too. I'm married up. I like that. Yeah.
That's clearly that's what happened. But without giving away anything about Series 9 before, so that we don't get anybody in trouble, because I don't want Philippa getting mad at me. Any little tidbits of things that you can tell us about Series 9 that you think the fans are going to want to check out?
Well, yeah, there's like as I said, there's a kind of not harmony, but there's the motor is idling in their marriage. It's not idling; it's functioning. Their marriage is functioning, and they get along just fine. And Martin is very supportive of Louise's studies and desire to practice being a counsellor. But at the same time, it's happening in his surgery, so there will be infringements and interruptions to the normal running of the practice, which is not for him really, but he'll put up with it. So there's a bit of putting up with stuff, and then we've got the dog now lives with us.
Oh no!
Yeah. Yeah, this was a big concession. And he features a lot, the dog, actually. And actually, there's one point where he gets the doctor. I think I can give this away. I have to operate on the dog. Because the vet, played by my old friend Caroline Quentin, has had a temporary infection that's affected her eyesight. The dog needs urgent surgery, so she has to kind of talk me through operating on the dog, which is actually on the face of it, when it was written and we all read it, we thought, oh, this is going to be funny. But then, of course, you realise actually everyone's really worried about the dog.
Well, yeah, you'll have the ASPCA after you if you think that.
Oh God, yeah.
You gotta be careful when you mess around with animals. People do take these things seriously, and you can really get yourself into trouble. But I think everybody's
one of the few complaints is when I ran that Yorkie over. We got a few complaints.
Oh God, I don't know. The one scene of all the Doc Martens that I remember that just blew me away at the time was the Martin and Louisa, dance of trying to get together and not get together and all that. And there's the scene where you and she are riding home from after something that you had done together to save a person's life from the hospital. and you're on your way home, and you're both sitting in the taxi on the way home, and finally there's the touch, and then there's the kiss, and then finally you say to her, have you always had that problem with your breath? And I mean,
do you have a regular oral hygiene program?
Right, exactly. That's it. And I'm like, all of this buildup, and dude, you just blew it. I'm like, oh God. It's like all of us cheering for you. Martin, you've done it. And then boom. Yeah, it's one of those.
That was almost bettered by the episode where I told us that she smelled faintly of urine.
Right? That was, oh God. Oh man. Oh,
I know. And she's the most beautiful woman in the world, sort of gazing back at you. It's hard, but it's sort of funny for that.
Oh my God. I can't see how you don't crack up. I mean, it's just absolutely hilarious. But anyway, like I said, if she had a Facebook page, it would be Married but Complicated. I
hope the audience will enjoy the functionality of their dysfunctional relationship in series 9.
I don't think
it felt like a progress for us.
Well, I don't think anybody's going to be upset, because Caroline Katz is a wonderful actress and a beautiful person, and I think that the chemistry that you guys have, there's got to be, there's got to be a progression. You can't always stay the same, and it's been fun. But I can't tell you how excited we are to get season 9. I know that everyone here in the States are ready, and
I look forward to hearing how it goes down now. But we're quietly confident. We're still. I think we're the last show to shoot on film, because nobody's ever complained about the way it looked, and it still does. Film does give it a luster and a dynamism that you don't get, I don't think.
Yeah.
Digital,
it's like a little movie. It's like it is. I mean, it's a quaint show, a wonderful show, and a show, frankly, that the entire family enjoys.
Good.
And there aren't many of those left.
No, there aren't.
One other quick thing, Martin, before we let you go, because I know we're running short on time here. But one of the things that I think is exciting is that now we have, through streaming and services like Acorn, the opportunity to watch the show almost in the same time span as the folks who get to see it on ITV in England. And I really think that's exciting.
New, yeah. Yes, that is new. Well, except the real diehard fans used to watch it illegally in the States, and then gleefully, write to us saying, "Oh, we watched it illegally." Go, thanks.
We'll watch it again, right? Yes, be sure to watch it a couple of times.
But this is, I think, the first year that you're.
It is.
It's almost concurrent, isn't it? Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, I know it's a changing world, isn't it?
Well, it's a fun world. I think that we get to consume television from all over the world now, which we didn't. It used to take time to get to us, and you can watch outstanding programming from all over the place. I know a couple of weeks ago I was talking to Lucy Lawless down in Australia, and we were watching her show, again almost in real time, and it does give the opportunity to get some feedback. So it's a wonderful time to be involved in in this whole aspect of the streaming video services, because the world is coming closer together. The world is starting to look at each other's programming and consume it and enjoy it. And I think that rather than wait 3 or 4 years to get to perhaps stumble upon it, nowadays it's right there, and you can get it, and you can get it at any time you want it and watch it and watch 4 or 5 or 6 of them, or 2 or 3 years of them, or whatever is available. So it's a good thing.
Yeah, it is. Good time to be alive.
Yeah, exactly. One last one. What do you and Philippa watch when you watch television?
What do we watch? We've been watching Paul Whitehouse and Bob Mortimer going fishing. I don't know if that's made it over there. It's sort of just two old comedians who both had heart scares, and one said to the other one had always been a lifelong angler, and so come out fishing with me. So each week they go off to some beautiful spot and they photograph it beautifully, and they fish for a different type of fish, and they just talk nonsense. And it's what it's slow TV. That's what we've been watching a lot of. It's stopped. It's just finished now, but I think they're going to make some more.
Many thanks to Martin Clunes for joining us. Martin, of course, the star of Doc Martin, which premieres tonight on TV and tomorrow in the U.S. on streaming service Acorn TV. Be sure to check it out. Highly recommend. Love the show. I know you do too. We'll be back with more of Stream On right after this.
Life is about making decisions. At BMW I, we decided it was time to reinvent the car from the ground up, making sure we were open for truly innovative ideas. We decided that the car we wanted must be electric, and it should be made of extremely light and super strong carbon fiber. And finally, we decided to make it more intelligent and added our promise of incomparable driving pleasure. We made all these decisions to offer you a choice. The all-electric BMW i3.
Welcome back, everybody. Now, if you're not one of the over 50,000 people who already have taken the time to subscribe to the show, first of all, shame on you. Second of all, we certainly do make it simple. It is free. You can find us as part of the Apple Podcast family. Same thing goes if you're a fan of Google, because we're over there at the Google Podcast family as well. You can find us at Spreaker, Stitcher, Spotify, as well as TuneIn, Radio, iHeartRadio, and YouTube, just to name a few. Now, for some reason you can't find us, that's not a problem. Just pull out the old Google machine and type in Stream On with Jim Williams, hit the favorite button or the subscribe button, and each week you'll get a brand new edition of the podcast sent directly to your phone, to your tablet, or to both. All right. So no problem there. Just do it today. By the way, if you happen to have an assistant device like Alexa or Google or Siri, all you have to do is say, hey, Alexa, do me a favor, play the latest edition of Stream On. And guess what? They'll play it for you. That's right. So again, we make it simple. We make it free. And all you have to do is go out there and subscribe today. We would greatly appreciate it if you did that. All right? Okay. Speaking of greatly appreciate, we appreciate Doc Martin. That's right. Martin Clunes for joining us today. It was a very entertaining conversation about Series 9, which premieres tonight on ITV if you're listening to us in the UK. And if you're not, well, guess what? Streaming service Acorn, our buddies at Acorn, will have Series 9, Episode 1 on Doc Martin Thursdays beginning tomorrow. So by all means, check out Series 9 of Doc Martin on Acorn TV if you're here in the U.S. tomorrow, and tonight at 9 p.m. on ITV if you're in the UK. All right? All right. So check out Doc Martin. Special thanks to Martin Clunes for joining us. Next week, we have a fantastic actress, Kelly MacDonald. Kelly will join us. She's going to talk about her 4-part miniseries, which was a huge hit on the BBC. It's called The Victim. It's a very intense, real-life story, okay? So The Victim, Kelly MacDonald next week. It was a BBC hit. It is now streaming on BritBox, okay? So Kelly MacDonald next week right here on Stream On with Jim Williams. Now, let's take care of a little bit of business. Special thanks and promotional consideration brought to you by Sling TV, simply without question the best live streaming service out there for any of you who are cord cutters or cord nevers. You get more bang for your buck at Sling TV. And if you're a baseball fan like I am, you're going to want to have it, because this week begins the quest for the World Series with the 2 wild card games. The first one on Tuesday is on TBS. The second one is on ESPN. That'll be in Oakland on Wednesday. And then the division series all start. They will either be on FS1 or over on TBS. Okay, so you're going to want to check all that out. Plus, they have the MLB network. They've got the NFL network. They've got Red Zone. They've got ESPN. They've got all the Fox sports affiliates as well. So if you're a football fan or a baseball fan, you're going to watch Sling TV. And by the way, if you're a news fan, plenty of fantastic news, whether it's CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, they're all there. Same thing goes if you're into the entertainment realm, plenty of great entertainment as well. So by all means, check out the official live streaming service for Stream On. That is Sling TV. Check it out today at slingtv.com. Take the special 7-day trial. You're going to enjoy it, and you can sign up for it, okay? Boommedia.org. That's boommedia.org. Promotion consideration for them because they provide some of the top streaming boxes out there. If you're someone who is a little more advanced and want to go beyond what Roku or Fire Stick gives you, you're going to want to go to Boom Media because they have the top of the line streaming boxes, and you can craft them in any way you want to get just the apps you want. It's really very cool setup. Check it out. boommedia.org. Okay. All right. So that does it for this week's edition of Stream On. Again, special thanks for Martin Clunes for joining us to talk about Series 9. Doc Martin tonight on Night TV at 9 o'clock. Tomorrow on Acorn TV, because it's Thursdays. It's Doc Martin Days, Series 9. And again, keep a lookout. Next week, our guest is going to be Kelly McDonald, the star of The Victim. Okay? All right. Until that time, I'm Jim Williams for the entire team here at Stream On. We wish you a very safe and enjoyable weekend. We'll catch you next week. All right, everybody. Take care.